Hey everyone, welcome back to I Built a Thing. I'm pretty excited about the thing I built this time. It's called Polyphony Live. The idea is that, uh, we all we all love and hate meetings, right? They can be very inefficient in a lot of ways. Only one person can speak at a time, that kind of thing. We all got to be together at the same time, so they could be more convenient, but there are definitely some things that you just kind of can't figure out any other way. Meetings somehow fill an important gap, that we still need, despite all of our technology and stuff advancements, we still need meetings every now and then, right? But I think this idea has a possibility to make our meetings more efficient. Like, I don't expect it to completely replace the legacy style of meeting, but I definitely think it has a place within modern human communication. So the idea is that we can use a large language model to ingest all of our information at once. We can all speak at once now. We can all listen at once to different to the answers to our specific questions. So what I'm going to start with here is just generate a space and enter it. And I'm going over to my other computer, which you'll see in a moment, and joining that space, right? And so now I'm just going to start with, I've got, I basically just simulated with the help of Claude here. I just created several developer kind of like architecture documents. These are not simple documents. These are pretty advanced. You know how Claude's an overachiever, you know? So so I'm just uploading some of these documents here. And I mean, like if we just take a look at one of them, and this is for a Salesforce project. The idea is a lead scoring. We've already got an overdeveloped Salesforce instance, and you know how those can become more difficult to develop upon because you start running into things due to the shared architecture. You start running into things like Apex timeout limits or SOCL query limitations, that kind of thing. So a lot of what the developer has input is, first of all, discussing system limitations, and then just kind of like challenges to get around, right? But so as you can see here, everything that I uploaded, the system ingested, and basically what it does, it takes it all into the RAM. This is um, at this time, this is a purely ephemeral meeting space, so it only exists in RAM. You know, each item that we upload goes into a vector database. This is the vector cloud, which is showing, you know, a lot of these different items. And then in the canvas, it generates a hierarchy of knowledge. But if we switch over to the project manager's view now, so this is what the PM sees, right? And so the PM can ask it a question, for example. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have the PM upload some documents of their own, right? And so PM has a couple of Word documents and a text file here, you know? And again, these are heavy, complicated documents. But so the large language model is taking everything all into RAM, and see how it just adjusted? So the whole perspective of the entire thing has changed. Now, both of us can ask questions at the same time. And, it supports both voice chat and chatting via text. Now, I think this is really interesting. We can expand on these little sections, and even though there's nothing yet, expanding on it is basically kind of like asking it a question, and so it will generate more information. Now, you can continue to expand on these, so it will, of course, begin to depart from what we currently have, but you know how large language models do. It will depart from what we currently have in intelligent ways. It can also generate mermaid diagrams on any of these items. So quite quickly here we can just share, and develop upon ideas and that kind of thing. So we got data sources and enrichment, you know. Oh, I've seen this every now and then. I get a little buggy with my mermaid diagrams. I'm not sure why. But yeah, so you're coming back over to the developer perspective. Um, Now we can go ahead and export this as a markdown file, you know? And when I bring down this file, let's see what we got here. So it's generated a large markdown file. It's going to be in order of the large language model's hierarchy of what it felt was most important. It keeps looking at the whole view of all the items and reestablishing a hierarchy of what's most important. And as you fill it up with information, if you start to reach the end, things at the bottom of the hierarchy will slip off, will slip out of memory. So in that way, it will try to keep all the most important information as possible. It also has the ability to compress the information down smaller. So as it begins to, if it's using up all the RAM, then it can compress it, you know? But see, this is talking about just, it actually, for the most part, will make sense. It's going to be a combination of both of the user's inputs, and also if you had text messages, if you said something was important in the text message, that might actually change the model's perspective of the entire larger phenomenon that we're modeling here. So basically, we're really harnessing the intelligence of this large language model to its ability to understand and use it for communication. And then another thing with it too. Oh, let's look at the vector cloud now. Now that both users have input a lot here. So we got items, both items from the project manager and from the developer. And these distance searches a lot of times have a very interesting meaning to them. But also, if you ask it a question, it's going to be considering the items closest in semantic meaning the most heavily, you know? And so I just think it's pretty powerful, quick way that we're able to, at least work towards synchronizing on a given item. Also, I think it's interesting. So we got group chat. You can turn it on or off. So when group chat's on, everyone's going to read messages when I see them. When group chat is off, I am talking to the large language model that has all the information. The large language model then might make changes based upon what I say, but one of the things that it's looking for is disagreements. It's going to be attempting to surface places where we seem to have a differing perspective. So, I just think that it's got a high chance of being useful. Maybe not necessarily in this current early version, but especially once being fine-tuned and developed, I think it has a extremely high likelihood of being useful to help humans communicate in a more efficient way, get rapidly on the same page, be able to pull down the documents and stuff like that. Also, I will say that a limitation in the way that I have decided to architect this that was really a mistake is I have made these meeting spaces entirely ephemeral. So everything is in RAM. As long as if one user is still in the space, then the space still exists. As soon as all users are gone, it vanishes instantly. And this is also a problem from the scalability perspective. Like I had every intention to share the link to this so that people could visit it and try it, but due to that architecture, it's going to not really be very scalable. So version 2.0, which I'll have out soon because it's not that difficult to make the changes, is gonna, instead of being, right now it's using Redis, which is basically a purely RAM, super fast database, and there's a version of a vector database that runs on Redis. So that's half the reason I just wanted to play around with that, because I had never built anything with the vector Redis before. But and it is pretty nice. It certainly has applications I think I can see in the future. But it just wasn't quite correct for this, because if we switch from using Redis to using a permanent database, there are just countless advantages. First of all, uh, it could be persistent. Um, it could be more scalable because the it doesn't depend on the RAM of the server in order to run the meeting. It could just use the database as the memory. Might be a little slower, but it'd definitely be a little slower. But and then I mean, so generally speaking, it's just going to be superior to actually use a database. For this particular architecture, that was not the best decision. But I'm more just experimenting here. Just thought it would be fun. So I'm quite excited about this project, and I hope you thought it was cool too. By the way, reach out to me if you do want to demo it. People, I can totally let you get access to demo it. I'm just not sharing a public link just yet because I run stuff on Google Cloud Run, and Google Cloud Run will scale automatically when it runs out of system resources. And I think that's going to happen really, really fast with this architecture since it's all in RAM. A single meeting space might be enough to fill up a whole Google Cloud Run instance. So that would get expensive for me, and I'm not charging anything for this. So, but I will share the link to the GitHub so that you can run your own if you like. And thanks for joining. I'll have something cool soon. I got some cool stuff in the pipeline.